I want to tell you about my first pundit. Pundit, is a term for a political commentator. And back when I was in 8th grade, not really connected into TV back then, it wasn't media as we know it, but just TV and TV news. Our teacher was Mrs. McDonough, great teacher, venerable woman. And those were the times when Richard Nixon was president, and he put on wage and price controls for a period of time to stem inflation. I remember Mrs. McDonough saying this. She said, well, he did something good. A lot of people like it. And she said, maybe he'll do something that isn't so good and people will remember that instead. How could I forget those words when a number of years later he was charged with high crimes and misdemeanors and resigned before the impeachment trial? She was the first pundit. Maybe a lot of pundits. They're on the left and on the right. Pundits will give you their commentary. They don't always give you all the information. They don't always give you an objective viewpoint, but they're pundits to tell us how the politicians are doing. In Luke chapter 13 and verse 1, Jesus gets a chance to be a pundit. Some people come to him and they tell him about the blood that Pilate has mingled with the sacrifices. Now, Pilate is the Roman governor. He was in office between 26 and 36. His main job, keep the taxes flowing to Rome and generally keep the peace in Palestine. They didn't really matter if a few people were killed here and there or he crucified a few people like he would eventually to Jesus. But they didn't want a huge revolt like would take place about 35, 36 years later. So they come and ask Jesus about the blood Pilate mingled with the sacrifices. Here's the interesting twist. I think they were expecting a political commentary, sort of like a man named Judas the Galilean who launched a tax revolt a couple of decades before, or sort of like some of those who would revolt in the Great War against Rome between 66 and 70. But the interesting thing is this. When they ask Jesus for a political commentary, and he has a chance because it's served up to him on a golden platter, he doesn't give one. He doesn't give one. And the reason he doesn't give one is because he has something else, something way more important in mind, and that is the eternal fate of people. Let's take a look at this story for the next couple days and notice what information he gets, what he decides not to say, why he decides not to say it, and why the eternal state of people's souls and lives matters more than the passing nature of politics, no matter how loud it is. And oh, by the way, if you think about it for a second, actually slaughtering some people like Pilate did, that may be way more drastic than some of the political choices we get so frustrated with. Jesus, he's the Son of God. He's not a pundit. This is your daily devotional for Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you will seek first the kingdom of God and pray for the church and pray for me and go deep into the Word. And love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might, and love your neighbor as yourself. God bless you as you serve him today.